Ladies and gentlemen, in a month in which the NFL salutes the service of our brave men and women in our armed forces, we also pause to remember the many who have recently lost their lives in senseless terrorist attacks abroad. Last Thursday, this reality struck close to home when 18-year-old Ezra Schwartz, a native of Sharon, Massachusetts, and a huge Patriots fan, was gunned down nearly 5,500 miles from home while studying abroad. At this time, we would like to honor Ezra Schwartz and the hundreds of victims like him with a moment of silence.
Dear Ezra, I can't believe it's been 3 months since I've seen you last. It's been 3 months since the worst day of my life. All that I know is my life is cut into 2 parts. The part that had you in it, and the part that doesn't have you in it. Your name is Ezra, the Hebrew word for helper. Until the very last moment, you lived up to your name in the fullest sense. A dedicated friend, close sibling, and devoted camp counselor. You were always there for others. It feels like just yesterday, you came into our room after curfew. When I asked you where you were, you simply said an old lady on the bus needed my help walking home. It was a 1.5 mile walk. I'll never forget that day. After an early morning, we tried waking you up to come work on the memorial we were helping build in memory of Gilad, Naftali, and Eyal. Too tired to join us, you rolled back on your pillow. Boy, were we surprised when you showed up just as the van was pulling out. Everything was so normal, just like every other Thursday. The usual jokes, the sunset, and the winding mountain roads. And then, the loudest noises I've ever heard. The glass shattering, the tires screeching, the people screaming. The van shakes as the bullets pierce through it. And to think that our seats were only a foot or 2 apart, that's all that separated life and death. All that separates our families from seeing us again. You're on the forefront of my mind. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Every second of every day I think about you. And I don't know if it's ever gonna go away. And then I look at this picture, one of so many of us together, taken less than a year ago. I look at our happy, relaxed faces that have no idea of the horror yet to come. And I hope wherever you are now, you're smiling that same smile, that you're okay. I hope you know how much of an impact, what a difference you made, and yet you were only 18. We're so blessed to have you in our lives. I hope you know that I miss you, and you're the greatest friend I will ever have. I hope you know that, bro. Love, Michael.
Michael, I don't know, what do you say, all of these terrible, terrible losses, the loss of Ezra, Amri, Benjamin, Rabbi Yaakov Littman, Daphna, Meira, and so many other holy souls that gave their lives al Kiddush Hashem, on the sanctification of God's name. Today in Israel, to walk down the street, you have to look over your back. Do we have answers to that? Do we begin to know? Michael, do we begin to know? Do we begin to know God's vision of the world? We don't begin to know. And I doubt if we'll ever know. But there was an answer from the Rebbe. In 1957, tragedy struck Kfar Chabad. In the agricultural school, which was then in the field, in the middle of the night, terrorists came in, killed 4 students and a teacher, wounded 11 others. And immediately the world went into, it was a tragedy of tragedies at that period of time. I believe there's even someone here in the room today that remembers that. And they sent a telegram to the Rebbe of the tragedy. And they were expecting an immediate response. An immediate response. But it took 4 long days till the Rebbe could get himself to respond. And then there came a telegram. And in the telegram, everybody gathered in the village square to hear what the Rebbe said. The telegram said 3 words. B'hemshech habinyan tenachamu. With the continuation of building, that will be your comfort. And build they did. Kfar Chabad then tripled in size. Institutions were built. And things took on entirely a different magnitude. You know, I was very much involved in Mumbai. When the terrorists struck, I was very involved with the Shliach in Mumbai, Rabbi Gavriel Holtzberg and his wife. I was involved in their going there. I was involved in their helping build the building. This morning, they closed a bit of a circle. The Shliach to Mumbai today, who is doing an amazing job, Rabbi and Mrs. Yisrael Kozlovsky, had just hours ago had a bris for their son, and they named him Gavriel Noach on the name of Rabbi Gabi Holtzberg. You know, we get together and we unite after tragedy. Look what happened at the wedding of the Littmans. I was in Israel then. I also stopped by the Binyanei Ha'umah. Thousands and thousands of people. But enough, we don't have to gather together in tragedy. Let's unite in joy. You see the joy that there is over here in this room. You see what is going on over here. You see the feelings of happiness, of joy. This is a year of Hakel. It's a year, instead of uniting with tragedy after tragedy, to each and every one of you, I want to tell you, be a leader. Be a leader. Don't go home complacent that you had a good time. The food was great. Times Square was amazing. You went on the trip on Friday. You did everything. And you're going to come back with a renewed spirit. You'll wear tzitzis. I'm sure you'll put on tefillin, hopefully every day, if not from time to time. You will keep Shabbos. You will light Shabbos candles. You're going to change your lives. Everything good. But it isn't enough that you do it for yourself. You owe it to the world to see that each and every one of your friends becomes a CTeen. There should be... Unite with mitzvahs, unite with light. And I want to tell you, I want to thank the Gutman family for hosting us today in the expo. But I heard some good news today, that they're building a place 10 times this size somewhere in Brooklyn. And I want to tell them that we need it next year for the CTeens and for the Kinnis, because this is going to be way, way too small. So I want to conclude by wishing each and every one of you success in everything that you do. But before I do that, they say that the one that calls up the people to the Aliyot and the Torah never gets a chance to be. This was just Rabbi Yisrael Kozlovsky from India calling. The shliach that made the bris. I just want to tell you that the one that calls up everyone else and thanks everyone never gets thanks. So I really want to shout out, and let's hear it for Rabbi Shimon and Leah Rifkin, the directors of CTeen. Now, for someone who suffered so much, but now is going to speak in joy, I want to give the microphone over to Michael and wish him that he should have success in everything that he does. And he should grow himself from strength to strength with him and all of his friends. Michael, you're on!
In honor of Hakel, this year's mitzvah pledge will be different than any in the past. Rather than being done individually, it'll be done by chapter. On your table, there are colorful finger lights, just like mine. Each color represents a different mitzvah. The green light represents organizing a new Torah class. Red, starting a club at your local high school. White, keep Shabbat together as a chapter. And blue, organize a Hakel gathering for the children in your community. On your table, there's also a pledge card for you to fill out. We'll be collecting the cards and giving them to Ezra's family. In 1 minute, the video screens around the room will have a 5-second countdown, after which you will all shine your finger lights with the color of your mitzvah pledge. All right, guys, let's unite with light. Let's see those finger lights.
Let's unite with light.